This podcast is dedicated to the celebration and preservation of the working Australian Shepherd. Descended from a proud lineage of hard-working American ranch dogs, the Aussie is a true American success story, shaped by purpose, instinct, and work. Their intelligence, beauty, work ethic, and deep connection to their people make them unforgettable members of the family. Out here, instinct isn't something to be managed or suppressed. It's something to be understood, honored, and held to a meaningful standard. This is a podcast about dogs, but it's also a podcast about humans and our responsibility, leadership, and the agreements we make with the animals who depend on us. Welcome to the Instinctive Australian Shepherd. All right, I'm going to start this episode a little bit differently than I normally do. Before I talk about the Futurity, as you notice the title is all about the Futurity and the Ranch Dog Finals, I want to give you a little history about how we got here, because it was a little bit of a different schedule than what we were expecting. Honestly, I feel like this event was kind of a miracle, and I don't use that word lightly. And the night before the 2025 Futurity was supposed to run, I started having severe back pain, very bad back pain. It had been going on for about a week, and I was having really high anxiety, which I don't have this high anxiety that just like covers my whole body. It was a very different kind of thing, but the back pain got so badly that I was in tears, and my daughter forced me to go to the emergency room. They got me back very quickly. Apparently they saw something I didn't. I was like, hey, I think I'm having an anxiety attack. I need some Valium. They said, no, you're having a heart attack. And the ER was packed. There were no open beds, so I was put in a bed in the hallway, kind of MASH style, if you guys remember what MASH was, in the hallway, hooked up to IVs and monitors, by a door that kept opening. It was at the end of the hallway by a door that kept opening into another part. And so I had zero privacy at all. My family was there, and the whole time this is the night before the Futurity is supposed to run. This is Friday night, and I was on my phone. I was not prepared. I'll honestly say I was not prepared for anything like this. I was planning that night to finish printing out score sheets and printing out course descriptions and all that, and I was on my phone just texting everybody saying, okay, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do next, this is how it's going to go. And finally the word came back to me. I don't remember who told me, if it was my family or somebody texted me and said, no, we're not doing this without you. We'll come back next year, or we'll come back later. We're just not doing it without you. So they stayed and worked dogs for the weekend. A couple of them stayed with my husband, who was also experiencing some health issues. It was a really bizarre weekend for my family. And I'll just never forget that. They just didn't want to run it without me. And it meant a lot to me that they valued my vision as much as I valued my vision. And so that is the community. That's what it's all about. And when we finally ran the 2025 and 2026 Futurities and the Ranch Dog Finals all in one event this year in 2026, I was there. And most of the people from the 2025 event were there as well. We had a couple that couldn't make it back, which was sad, but most everybody was there. And while the events were small, we had a mighty, strong community. And I'll even flash back a little bit earlier to 2024, the first Futurity we held in over 20 years in the Aussie world, or in 20 years. The previous Futurity was 2004, the last one that was recorded. So in 2024 had been 20 years, and it was magical. The event was magical. We had people that had competed in the 2004 Futurity there. One of them was my guest judge. Another one was actually a competitor who won the open event, Bruce Nelson. It was magical. The event was exciting. People were encouraging each other. Everyone was just, there was so much fun, lighthearted heckling and teasing and laughter, and it was just magical. It was magical. And so that's the energy I want to kind of bring forward to these Futurities going forward. And the 2025 and 2026 Futurities and Finals did not disappoint. We ran the Ranch Dog Finals for the first time in 2026. That was my homage to the maturities. In the past, there have been maturities that went along with the Futurity, and usually in the maturities, they require that the dog has run in a past Futurity to compete in a maturity. So they're for older dogs that are older than the Futurity age. But since we hadn't had a futurity in 20 years, it was really hard to do a maturity. So, and I don't like the word maturity. I think it's weird. And I think it's, anyway, people still ask about it. The old timers still ask, hey, is it a maturity? I'm like, no, we just call it the Ranch Dog Finals. Because anybody can compete in it, whether they've been in a futurity in the past or not. And the only dogs that are not eligible to compete in the Ranch Dog Finals are the current year futurity dogs. It's just too much for a young dog. And so for example, this year coming up in 2027, the 2027 futurity dogs are the only ones that won't be eligible to compete in the Ranch Dog Finals. But any other dog, any other Australian Shepherd on the planet can compete in the Ranch Dog Finals. So it makes it more open and welcoming to more people. So in 2025 and 2026, it did not disappoint. It was an amazing event. It was awesome. I had a co-course director, Kristen Russell, who volunteered to help me out. She actually has border collies, not Aussies, and she came to help out handling stock, also being my co-course director, which it was really nice to have someone else there to bounce ideas off and handle situations and not just be the only one carrying the load. And everything was well documented this time. I posted courses in advance. I had all the score sheets printed out in advance. Like, everything was much more organized because the lesson I learned from 2025. So unfortunately, I took that lesson the hard way. Fortunately, I'm in better health than I've been in decades, and so everything is going really great. So let's talk a little bit about the actual futurities. Now, the 25 and 26 futurities ran the same courses. They did not compete against each other because there's a whole year difference in age in these dogs, but everybody ran the same courses. Ranch Dog Finals, they also ran the same courses, but added difficulty. There was an added difficulty level to each course. So let's go through those. We had 3 different courses on cattle and 3 different courses on sheep. The first course was the Ranch Dog course, and that was on Friday. We used sheep, and we had a cow course and a sheep course, and it was basically pen work, sorting. We ran them down the alley into different pens. We did some running them through chutes and sorting livestock as if it was a real ranch situation. Then we had some in the arena, which is an acre arena. It's a really large arena, and we did some work in there, some obstacles and things like that. It was a really lovely course. It took a long time. We didn't finish till like 7:30 that night. And I believe that was the day we had to rest our sheep. We had really good weather, except the first day was stinking hot. It was Texas hot and humid. And the sheep had to have a break halfway through because it was too hot. So we gave them a good long water break, and everybody else took a break. And so that's another reason why it lasted a little bit longer. And some things will be changed in 27 regarding the ranch courses. There will always be a ranch course, and that's just basically real work course, loading trailers, working chutes, some level of sorting. Probably that'll be different, but there's always going to be a ranch course. Now, the second day was the field course. It was in a 14-acre field. We had very few obstacles. Mostly it was concerned with gathering out of a pasture, basically. My pasture has lots of hills, so that adds a little bit of difficulty to the challenges. We had handler lines that were not hard and fast. So one of the beauties of what I do with the futurity and the finals is there are no hard, fast handler lines. You're not going to be disqualified if you cross a handler line to help your dog. There are, however, like bonus points you can earn by staying behind certain lines. So basically it's a bonus if you stay back. There were 3 in the finals, the Ranch Dog Finals, there were 3 handler lines. So they could get 1 point per head. I believe it was 5 points per head, and I think it was 10 points per head, something like that. You got more points, or 3 times. It was 1, 2, and 3 times. That's it. Sorry, 1 point per head, 2 points per head, or 3 points per head, depending on how far you stood behind the lines. But if you crossed in there, you're still going to get a minimum of 1 point per head if you crossed to the lowest line, which some people did, some people didn't. Some people laid down some epic runs from the farthest handler line. Beautiful, like master classes. Judy DeShazo laid down a masterclass cattle run. It was beautiful. It was epic. Y'all need to go check the videos out. I have them on they will be posted on my YouTube channel, and it's the @StockDogTrainer YouTube channel. So @StockDogTrainer is what you can search in YouTube and find those links, and they'll be in a playlist for the futurity and the finals. So the main it was mostly we had a set out, so they call for their stock, cattle and sheep. We ran it, the same basic course for cattle and sheep. They kicked the stock out, And they had at the highest level for the finals, it was a 700-foot outrun. And then for the Futurity, it was 350 feet was the shortest, was the outrun they needed to do if they wanted to um, get there. I don't remember if the Futurity, if we even did the 2x handler line. There was a handler line at they got the 1x or the 2x. Yeah, if they stood behind the handler line, they could get the 2x, and that was a 350-foot outrun. And then to get the one-time points, they ran anywhere on the field they could go. So that was really cool. And then we just had two sets of panels kind of perpendicular to each other that they would bring them through and then repin up at the other set, 750 feet away up at the other end of the field. So it was a real simple course. And the cool thing was I had a lot of people who have never done this before. I opened my ranch up the week before the Futurity and finals for anyone to come practice if they want to practice. Nobody, the courses were posted, so they knew the courses, but a lot of people were just like, I've never set my dog that far. I did not even know they could do it, and they rocked it. And the dogs really, really stepped up. It was magical in the dog work. The dog work was so magical this time. The dogs were doing things that they've never done before. Case in point, the third day we did a double lift challenge, which has never been done in the Aussie world that I know of. If it has, it has never come to my ears. You see a double lift challenge oftentimes in open border collie classes, and it's usually like the second course, or they make the final cut to do the double lift. So like not everybody even does the double lift, and it's in a big field. So what a double lift is the stock is set out. The dog gathers, and this is how ours ran, and it was in the 1 acre, so it was in a smaller area. It's okay. The stock was set out. The dog went and gathered them through some fetch panels and penned them in a freestanding pen, and this was sheep. We just did it with sheep. We didn't do it with cows this year. That's a hint. We did it with sheep this year, and so they penned them in a freestanding pen. And then as soon as the sheep were worked to the freestanding pen, another set of stock were set out in the opposite corner of the 1 acre arena, and then the dog had to leave the sheep and go gather the second double lift of those sheep and pin them as well. So then all 10 sheep were pinned in one pin together. I think it was 10 or 18, something like that. I think it was like almost 20. I think we actually did 9 and 9 or 8 and 8. It was a lot of sheep in the pin. And then after the sheep were brought into the pin together, then we took them around and did a course with them. They had some obstacles to do, a hold circle where they had to set them inside a circle and keep them inside the circle for the count of 10, and then a trailer load and some various panels to do. It was awesome. The dogs did it. It was awesome. I think people were nervous about it. The whole time I was videoing it, I just really wanted to do it with my dogs because it looked like a lot of fun. Like all these courses, I really wanted to run with my dogs. And I had 2 dogs in the Futurity this year. One of them was pulled due to an injury, and the other one, I just didn't do it because we were running out of time. So I didn't really run Bliss at all. But I thought, oh my gosh, this would have been so much fun to run. And that's what I want to do with my courses, is create courses that people are like, ooh, that looks like a lot of fun and challenging. And giving kudos to the people that showed up for these Futurities. This takes some serious cojones to do this. It takes some serious courage. It takes some serious willingness to look bad because it's something new, it's something hard, and it's something that a lot of people have not done with their dogs. So kudos to them for taking this. I am so proud and just enamored with the people that showed up because seriously, it is awesome. It is awesome. They did some hard things, and I kept hearing, I've never done this before, and my dog did it, and we saw these dogs step up in magical ways. And that was the magic of the 2025-2026 event, was the dogs just stepping up and doing some really hard stuff. So that was really exciting. So those were the 3 courses. The atmosphere and with the competitors was very collegial, very professional, very encouraging to each other. People, just hung out together and had a great time. And it was really neat. It was really, really neat. And I think that I just loved watching everybody work their dogs. So let's talk about the winners. Let's talk about the people that won. And I think everybody that showed up was a winner in my book because you showed up and did some hard stuff with your dogs, and everybody had there was a smile on their face. And even if their dog struggled, they went to go help their dog, and it was about the dog, and it was about this partnership. And that is what we do when you work a dog on a ranch. If you work a dog at trialing and you reach this level of partnership, it's magical. Like, it is extremely magical that you can sit there and do something with this partner that you've developed this partnership over the last couple of years. It's quite outstanding. So let's talk about the results. So for the 2025 Futurity, the Open Champion, which is the open class, we have two classes, Open and Novice, and there are requirements. Basically, in 2024, I had a whole bunch of people that wanted to run the Futurity, but were kind of intimidated to run against the expert trainers that people have been trialing and training for years. So we created a novice class, and half the Futurity was novice and half the Futurity was open, and that was outstanding. It was awesome. So we have the novice class and we have the open class. And so the open is for an experienced handler. Okay. So the 2025 Open Champion that won High Sheep, High Cattle, and the Open Championship was Hondo and Trisha Millsap out of Texas. And I think what the beauty of this partnership was that Trisha backed her dog up every single chance she got. Every time he struggled, every time he had a difficulty, she was there to back him up. And they have been working and growing, and I've been working with them. They've been working out here at the ranch for lessons for several years, and just to watch their relationship flourish and grow, and Trisha grow as a handler, it was wonderful. It was super awesome, and I have so much respect for her. So for the 2025 Novice Championship, which was the same thing, Novice Champion also got High Sheep and High Cattle. We have the overall winners, and then we have High Sheep and High Cattle. And that was Tessa and Loie. Tessa Laney and Loie. And Tessa's from Pennsylvania, and they were able to run a novice, even though she's completed the requirements to move to open prior to the Futurity. I locked in everyone's position in 2025. So that's why they competed in novice. And I'm telling you, that little dog gave her little heart for Tessa. She just did everything Tessa asked her to do. She did a nice job controlling her stock. She did a really nice job overall working it. It was fun to watch her. She has her own unique style, and you look at this dog and you're like, she's so chill. And then you just see her moving and controlling livestock and managing it. It was lovely. It was very lovely. So in the novice, we had the reserve champion, and that was Awuga and Mia Raffanan. So Mia has not been running a dog for very long. Her and her dog Awuga are super fun to watch because Awuga will do anything that Mia asks her to do. He puts his heart on the line for her every time. He never causes a wreck. He just steady, slow, dependable dog, and he just nails it and does anything that she wants him to do. It's lovely. So for the 2026 Futurity results, same weekend. This was the weekend that would have run if we had run the 2025. So these are the 2026 Futurity dogs. For open, the champion, they also got High Sheep and High Cattle, was Ketch and Katie Klepper. Katie also ran a dog in the Ranch Dog Finals, a different dog because Ketch wasn't eligible for the 2026 Ranch Dog Finals because of his age. And that's the rule. I mentioned it before that the current year Futurity dogs do not qualify for the Ranch Dog Finals. So the 2025 dogs got a free entrance to the Ranch Dog Finals because that was one of the concessions I made for them since they missed out on their 2025 year. And Katie is a phenomenally professional handler. She's kind and sweet and so professional, and her dogs are so well trained. If you've watched any of her dogs, they're just really well trained. You're going to see this Ketch dog in the future. He's a pretty phenomenal dog. It was really fun to watch him work. So let's do the open champion. So the open reserve champion was Cowboy and Christy Franks. So I don't know if you remember, but in 2024, Christy won the novice buckle with her dog Shaps. So she's not a stranger to winning buckles at Futurity events now. And so it was really neat to watch them working. And I have a little bit of a special spot in my heart for Cowboy because he's a copper son and he's phenomenally talented. And they did a really nice job. You know, they work together. Cowboy can control livestock and he's a very strong dog. And it was really nice to watch them. So let's move on to the 2026 inaugural World Ranch Dog Finals results. And this was the first time we've run the Ranch Dog Finals, and it was very exciting. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and it was a lot of fun and a little bit more spread out than the other winners. So this is the first one we've ever run. So we got Ranch Dog Final Champion and also the High Sheep winner. So I'll say the Ranch Dog Finals champion and the High Sheep winner was Katie Klepper and Trace. I believe Trace is the sire to Catch, and so that was kind of cool to see that. And Trace is, he's getting up there, but that dog can work some sheep. He did really nice on the cows too, obviously because they won the championship buckle overall. That means they were the overall winner for the Ranch Dog Finals. They got the overall points for cattle and sheep. He also got the high sheep scores. And so it was super fun to watch him. He's a really nice, well trained dog, works out wide, very smart, very clever, and he loves working for Katie. And I just love watching them work together. I've seen them run before. They've been here at trials that we put on in ASCA trials many times. And I think he witched here and he goes witch X here. So it was kind of fun to watch that. I love watching them work. Ranch Dog Finals, the reserve champion. So that would be the second highest point earner overall, was actually Loa and Tessa Laney, and they had competed in the 2025 Futurity, if you remember. So they won the Ranch Dog Reserve, and that is exciting to see them doing so well, getting a couple of buckles, stacking the buckles up here. So that was fun to watch. And I kind of talked about Tessa and Loie, and so I won't re-talk about it, but they are a nice team. And then finally, our High Cattle Ranch Dog Finals winner was Cole and Judy DeShazo. Now, I mentioned before that they had laid down a masterclass run in that Futurity, or in the Ranch Dog Finals field course. It was epic. It was beautiful. It was epic. It was moving cows nice and slow, gathering out of a big pasture, controlling the livestock. It was perfect, and it was super fun to watch. And Judy has been a supporter of all this Futurity stuff in the past too, so I really appreciate it. And no matter what, anyone that showed up here, everyone that showed up here to compete was a winner, because it took a lot of courage and a lot of perseverance to train a young dog, to get a young dog ready for nice big challenges. And so everyone that was here was a winner. And I really want to also mention that my volunteers, Kristen Russell for being the co-course director and livestock handler, Jenny Hartman was also invaluable to helping me move livestock, setting up courses, prepping the day. Super helpful. And then Roxanne came in and was a timer for me. She did the double lift. She helped set livestock on the double lift with her collie, her smooth collie. And so that was a lot of fun too. So I really appreciate that. We couldn't have run it without the volunteers. Kristen also cooked for us, and it was awesome. Such a great thing. So let's talk a little bit about what's changing for 2027, and possibly if you're interested in running either of these events, the 2027 Futurity or the 2027 Ranch Dog Finals, what you can do to prepare. All right, so the Ranch Dog course is going to be a little shorter, but we are going to do some sort of Ranch Dog course, which is basically pens, sorting, trailer loads, like real life ranch activities. The double lift will return. You will see the double lift again, and we may be adding cows for this, and in the Ranch Dog Finals, putting it in a little bit larger area, because our dogs can do it. It's very exciting. We're going to be adding some additional awards, so it won't just be overalls. We'll have some other awards that we're adding, different prizes. I would love to grow the sponsorship side of this, so if you guys know anyone who's interested in sponsoring any of these events, we would love to have it. We had $5,000 added money this last time, and I wrote a lot of checks. I wrote all those checks out, big checks. So that was awesome. And I would love to keep doing that. I would love to make the checks even bigger. I want to make it worthwhile for someone to come from Idaho or Arizona or California or Europe. Like, make it worth your while. You could come out here and win enough money to pay for your trip at least. So that's kind of the goal. So the time of year is going to not change. It'll be the fourth weekend in April. That's the best weekend we can do as far as our temperature here and our, everything that we can do. It's the best that we can do. I've looked at doing it in the fall. I've looked at doing, unfortunately our fall is our national finals and nationals and finals, and a lot of these dogs will be competing in both of those. And this is a good way to get your finals dogs prepped too without burning them out, having them do some hard, challenging work. By the way, but I've looked at all different kind of dates, and the best we can do is April. Now, the good thing about April is it's bluebonnet season around here, and the bluebonnet wildflowers are epically beautiful. And so you can come down and get your obligatory bluebonnet photo of your dog in the flowers, and come compete at a really freaking cool event. So I don't really have a lot of changes that are going to happen for 2027. There'll be new courses, there'll be different courses. We'll add some challenges, we'll do some fun things. And as it gets, I think I started releasing courses in about 60 days prior to the event last year. So, or this year, I'll probably do that again next year. So you'll have a chance to practice some of the challenging parts of the courses, and I'll release those courses for you in advance. I think everybody liked seeing that and preparing for that. I just want to mention too that I live streamed this, and we will live stream it again. And I loved doing that. I loved doing the color commentary, and I loved having people from literally all over the world. We had Europeans watching, we had people from all over the US watching, commenting, engaging on it. It was a lot of fun. So we'll definitely live stream it again next year. Maybe we can get a little bit of a professional team coming out here to do the live stream. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much that. That's pretty much the gist of it right there, guys. I think it'll be a great event. I'm really excited about it. The entries are open for the 2027 Futurity and for the Ranch Dog Finals. Let's talk about the Futurity right now for a second for 2027. Talk about eligibility. If you forget this or you want to look at it, you can go to workingaussiesource.com/futurity-eligibility, or if you just go to workingaussiesource.com, there's a drop down for Futurity and it talks about the eligibility there. So for the 2027 Futurity, pups that are born between, these are dogs that are born between April 1st, 2024 and March 31st, 2025. Those are the dogs, that is the eligibility year. So if your dog is born between April 1st, 2024 and March 31st, 2025, you can run in the Futurity. For future dates, for the 2028, dogs that are born between April 1st, 2025 and March 31st, 2026 are eligible to run in the Futurity for 2028. But if you need to, just check out the website, workingaussiesource.com, and click on the Futurity drop down and it'll tell you the Futurity eligibility dates. And so remember, Ranch Dog Finals, you can come and run in Ranch Dog Finals and not run in the Futurity. You don't have to do both. The Ranch Dog Finals are a separate event. It's open to any dog that is not a 2027 Futurity dog. Okay? So that is the only group of dogs that are not eligible to run in the Ranch Dog Finals. We just figure it's too much for them to be running. They would have to be running 12 runs, and that's too much because you run 6 runs currently. You can enter just sheep and just cattle for both the Futurity and the Finals. That's totally fine. Or you can enter all of them. But Futurity registration is open now. We have discounts if you get going here pretty soon, and we may have some exciting announcements about all that too. So Ranch Dog Finals and the Futurity, you get 6 runs, 3 cattle, 3 sheep. So it's a deal. The entry fee is a deal. And if anyone is looking to sponsor, you need to reach out to me, and you can sponsor events, you can sponsor just money, you can sponsor buckles. We have all different things that you can sponsor. So just reach out to me and let me know what you're interested in sponsoring. And I look forward to seeing all of you in 2027, 4th weekend in April in Frost, Texas. I will see you soon. That's the show for today. If this way of thinking resonates with you, you're not alone, and you're welcome here. You'll find show notes, past episodes, and more at theinstinctiveaussie.com. Thanks for spending your time with me, and I'll see you down the road.